Hey folks, welcome to the channel, and in this video I'll talk about two topics I get asked about all the time regarding tactical flashlights or lights for self-defense, usually with a strike bezel of some kind or another, and pepper spray. Which one should I get, what brand and whatnot? Before we go on, keep in mind that if you want to learn more about all of this stuff, you have the channel with a ton of information, but specifically for self-defense, avoiding confrontations in the first place, avoiding these kind of social threats that you have when out and about, street survival skills. Basically, half the book is about security, self-defense, home defense, personal defense when out and about, security when driving, defensive driving skills, and so much more. There's even a chapter dedicated to flashlight being used as a weapon, right? Trying to keep things simple, right? But talking about it in a realistic manner. The first thing I want to say about tactical flashlights is there's going to be a massive difference between the one that you have attached to something that actually can be used to immediately stop a threat like this case or that case, or something right like this, where the flashlight is great, but what actually coming out of that barrel is the real showstopper, right? So these are different things. When it comes to actually using this as an impact weapon, well, usually you will have some sort of strike bezel. And I don't feel there's a massive difference when it comes to slamming this thing over the head of someone, especially given that it's basically going to be an aluminum body of one kind or another. So you don't have to go with a $300 Surefire, which I'm sure is great, right? But for an impact weapon, any of these things pretty much will work well. Now, when you usually look at defense and tactical lights, defensive lights, it's going to be about using the light itself to confuse, dazzle, and whatnot, and impacting and slicing and cutting and hitting with a flashlight itself. I don't trust that much the idea of, oh, it is 5,000 lumens, so he's obviously going to be blinded by it. I don't know, man. I really haven't had that experience, and I've been blasted accidentally by these things a number of times, right? I understand that it's not pleasant, and it does put you in a position of disadvantage to not see clearly who's pointing this thing at you, especially when it's attached to one of those things, right? But having said that, I don't feel, oh, but he's gonna hit me with his strobe, man. The strobe, whoa, that's gonna be super terrible. I don't know. I get it. Light in your face is not nice, but I don't feel it's that much of a showstopper. Now, I've never used this against someone. I know of a person that did, and he had a pretty graphic outcome of it, just hitting someone on the head and stripping a piece of the skull from a person because of this sharp edge. Based on what he was telling me, he didn't have any, dagger strike bezel. It's just a little bit of an edge is usually going to be enough. Keep in mind, you're hitting someone over the head with a metal piece of, with a piece of metal. Of course, it's going to hurt. Of course, it's going to cut through skin, right? So you don't need to overdo it. Just a little bit of an edge is probably going to be enough. At the same time, be responsible about these things. You can easily crack someone's head, and then you will have to explain your actions to the law. And that may not go your way if you got a little bit too flashlight ho and started hitting people just because. Make sure you were actually defending yourself when you really had no other option left. Other than that, yeah, I guess it's better than nothing. Personally, I would rather have more adequate tools to defend myself than a flashlight. But yeah, I get it. If this is what you have and you want to practice and drill and incorporate this into your striking and whatnot, I think it's an option, okay? I will try to keep it reasonable and not overestimate how effective this be. You're not, oh, I'm an unstoppable force because I have my tactical flashlight, right, with a strike bezel, all right? But yeah, practice, incorporate this. It is rather easy to see this as part of your striking, your fist, your hammer fist, right? Think of UFC MMA when they start hammering someone, ground and pound. Yeah, or even just striking someone over the head with it. Even when they block, it's gonna cut, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna probably break a bone, especially the small ones in your hand. And then you have your pepper spray, which I think it's great. I think it works within the limitations that we know of, but whenever we see cops or people using it on the streets, it usually works quite well. It is not pleasant. It really does blind you far more quickly than a light will, and it tends to get the job done. Again, within the limitations, it is a non-lethal option here that you have, but it tends to stop most attackers within reason, all right? Brands, Saber Red, I think it's a clear one. I'll leave the links there below if you want to buy Saber Red. I'll actually check out what's interesting out there in Amazon in terms of these flashlights. If there's one of these strike bezel tactical lights that I think it's interesting, I'll leave it there below for you guys to catch, and as well as Saber Red, which is always a good idea. I have it in all my vehicles. I keep one like close to the door just in case. You have another option. It's not just about putting rounds on any idiot out there. This gives you that non-lethal option, and even if it's a lethal aggression that person has in mind, this may even stop that too. So yeah, I think it's a great idea. Saber Red is probably the one that's been the most tested and most reliable over the years in the industry of pepper spray. I know that what is Cold Steel had Fox Lab or something like that. So there are other ones. I feel that Saber Red is a good way to go. Which one? Well, not the smaller one, not the pen like the lipstick tiny one. I would go with something like that, maybe a little bit bigger. I think that makes more sense. Yeah, you have more spray, and basically you want to cross over their face with it. Liquid, foam, or gel. I would go with gel. Foam seems to be cool. It sounds great, but when it comes to wind and so on, gel is probably the best bet. Let me know what you guys like in the comments below. Oh, I've used this in a number of times, and you know what? Foam actually worked great for me, or whatever is the case. But in general, gel will be a little bit less sensitive to strong winds, and it's gonna stick more in the person's face, and it just makes a little bit more of a better option based on everything I've read online about this stuff. It's just something that you will have to go with what most people say they've had the best results. But everyone's experience also matters. So share yours in the comments below, guys. That's gonna be all for now. See you on our next video. Take care. Have a great day.